Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with one of my favorite guests, Suzanne Bandick. Not only because she's amazing, but because she always picks, she gets to talk to all of, or a lot of our clients and gets to pick what she sees them going through. We found the things they're going through are often things that you guys are going through. So I always know that we've got a great topic. Most of the time I introduce the topic and I think I butcher it. So we're gonna do a little different. I'm gonna let Suzanne introduce the topic and I'll just sit in the back and poke fun as I see fit.
Alrighty, well, this is unusual, Mike.
Gotta switch it up now and again. Can't do the same thing every time.
Okay. Uh, the topic for today, folks, is we all have a number of things happening in our business, and we're juggling a lot of balls. And sometimes there's ones that we're not really crazy about. We don't really like what is happening in our business. So what I'd like to do is cover today things that can happen and 5 steps to change anything in your business that you're not crazy about having happen.
Love that. Usually I have 1,000 thoughts. This is one of the few. Mike, that was so well said. You jump into the 5 and I'll say my remarks.
Okay, well, let's start with all the different areas because something may ring a bell for our listeners. So we've got clients, and sometimes it's not enough clients, or sometimes it's not really a great client. They cause us a lot of stress. That can happen in our business. We've got our cleaners, and sometimes it's not enough cleaners, and sometimes they're not getting along, and sometimes they're not doing the job right. And there's another ball of wax with cleaners. And then there's money. Usually never too much, often a lack or a way to juggle or even knowing how much money you're making. And then there's time. Often I deal with a lot of people who feel like they don't have enough time in their day and there's just too much to do and they're run ragged and they're getting exhausted. And then, of course, there's relationships. There's the relationships with your clients, there's the relationships with your cleaners, and there's the relationships that are affected, your personal relationships that are affected by your business relationships. So at any one time, hopefully a lot of those things are running smoothly, but sometimes we hit a wall with something that is not. And that's where I'd like to cover the 5 steps to say, have a look. What are you getting? What are you feeling about what you're getting and what's happening so that you can look at what's good and what's not. And then when we find the things that are not good in that specific area, okay, it's really important to not put everything in the same bathwater, okay? There are always good things going on in your business. Please take a minute to celebrate and congratulate yourself on the things that are going well. And then in this podcast, I'd like to look at anything that isn't going well so we can change it around for you. And I happen to have 5 steps.
I am, myself and the audience are waiting with bated breath.
Okay. 5-step process. 1, please recognize and acknowledge what is going on that you don't like. Okay? Otherwise, and I talk about this a lot. If you're in your vehicle and your gas tank is running on empty, you can't put a happy face sticker over the top and ignore it and expect it to still run. So a lot of times when something's going wrong, I think we tend to want to ignore it. Right?
It's so interesting you say that. Some of you may hear my voice a little shot. We had a live event for some of our clients this week. And one of the themes that came up was spending enough time on identifying the problem. And we found as business owners, we want to jump right to the solution. So oftentimes, like Suzanne said, we'll just acknowledge we just kind of ostrich head in the sand, choose not to acknowledge it, especially when it comes to the financial financial or even difficult conversations. We think if we ignore them, they'll go away. And obviously they don't. And anyway, on the point of recognizing and acknowledging, I would encourage our listeners to spend more time recognizing and clarifying and identifying the problem. And we had several, I want to say role plays, but kind of discussions with one-on-one in front of the group where we spent 5 or 10 minutes really helping someone get clear on the problem. And they thought they had a hard problem that required me to coach. And really, I just helped them clarify what the problem is and ask their question in a really thoughtful manner. They didn't need my coaching at all. They were able to answer once I helped them get the question, they got the answer. So recognizing and acknowledging the problem and really clarifying it is so foundational. Because if we're solving Elon always says one of the worst things is optimizing a system or a process that shouldn't be there. So if we're spending any time solving the wrong problem, doesn't matter how well we solve it, it's time wasted.
Perfectly said. And ignoring it, I'm going to be perfectly clear here. Ignoring it does not serve us. It does not make it go away. It's still in the back of your head. It's still wreaking havoc in your business. It's something that weighs on your shoulders. So you think, I'm just not going to think about it. I'm just going to ignore this. But guess what? It's not really being ignored. So it's best to acknowledge there's something that has to change, which takes us to step 2. Decide you want something different. Okay. I don't want to have to deal with this client who's makes my crew miserable. I don't want to have to deal with a bunch of cleaners who aren't respecting me. They're not a core value match and they're not doing their job. I'm choosing something different. That's step 2. You've got to, after you've acknowledged it in step 1, you've got to number 2, decide I'm going to change it.
I want to encourage you. This is really important. I think oftentimes we hear, like, oh, it seems almost self-explanatory, like, well, obviously. But I think a lot of times people hear decide they want something different, and which is what we're saying. But what they hear is acknowledge they quote unquote need to do something different. So here's the problem. And yeah, I probably should, or probably be better. And I get that it'd be nice. But for any of us who have lost weight, or I would imagine quit drugs, or ended a relationship that wasn't bad, wasn't what you wanted, there was probably a time leading up to it where you acknowledged the problem and you out loud said you'd like the problem to change. But even if it was a year or two, like, I struggled with my weight for a decade, we can almost always, in retrospect, recognize the moment we decided and cut off all other options and said, that's it. I can't, I won't, I've got to do something different. So don't sleep on decide, like, and water it down to state a desire that I'd really like to see this change, because that's not deciding. Deciding a desire is if food wasn't so delicious, I would lose weight. It's like, got it. But that's not decision. Decision is, I can't live like this anymore. I must have something different. I will have something different. So I want to make sure people aren't hearing loudly whine about the thing that you'd like, and they are hearing cut off all other options and make it definitive in the moment. This has got to change, and I've got to change it.
I love that. And that's exactly how we make the changes. Is we've decided no other option is possible. This has to change. And that will help us.
Sadly, many of us wait until the pain of doing what we're doing another day, another moment is greater than the pain of change, which is fine. But there's another option. You can just kind of forecast with your brain is what's going to happen, how this is going to end, and go, I don't have to hit rock bottom. Do I really have to? And maybe we do. I'm not saying always we can opt out, but I am saying we don't always have to opt into rock bottom. It's always an option. But someone's like, no, I've got to feel that pain before I change. That's a path you're welcome to travel, but not one that you're bound to travel.
Awesome. I'll try to encourage you not to travel that path.
That would be my encouragement. But again, that's the thing. You can't decide for me, and I can't decide for you, kind listener. That's something in our heart we've got to do. And we can kind of have our cerebral cortex make that happen, or we can just wait for the pain to hit us in the head and go, all right, you got my attention. I got to do something different.
So we've focused on something that we've decided we need to change. We're acknowledging it in number 1. Number 2, we're deciding that this has to change. Number 3, now remember, I deal with mindset a lot. Mindset our personal mindset can help us do a lot of things in our life. So number 3 is begin to deliberately and intentionally change your thoughts on the situation. Okay. So we can go with, let's do some examples. If it's clients, you might be saying to yourself, you've got a client that you don't like that is causing you distress. And you may be saying to yourself, yeah, but maybe I won't find another. Maybe I'm short on clients. Maybe I have to take this and I have to handle this because this is what I need to do to succeed. And I'm going to suggest that you deliberately change the thought to be open to. There are other clients out there. There are an abundance of clients that I can find someone new and I do not have to deal with this stress, right? That's starting to change a thought. If it's employees, if it's cleaners, again, if they're not doing well, you can say, I know that there's good core value match cleaners out there that are looking for me. I just need to find the way to say I'm here and they're going to be able to find me and I'm going to be able to change my crew to this great core value match that I love. I've seen this happen time and time again, by the way, side note, right? It's the thought. If you are continually thinking, I can't change, there's nobody good out there, there's no more clients, there's no more this, if you're in that thought track, guess what? You're going to get what you think you're going to get. But if you can slowly move the needle, not to everyone is going to be fantastic and I just have to work with these people I've got and I'll make them better, to, you know what? Sometimes a square peg doesn't fit in a round hole. Let's stop trying to change that and shave it down so it fits. And let's actually look for some people that's easier.
Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
And for those of you who are like me, who set out with intention, and it's easier once you decide, by the way, that's why the decision is so important. If you've merely stated a preference and you start trying to change your thoughts, the thoughts you've had before, and I'm going to replace the word thoughts with beliefs, I think will be helpful. If we try and change our beliefs, if we haven't made a clear-cut decision, the beliefs that have kept us stuck will kind of intrude on the beliefs that we're trying to establish. So for those of you guys and gals that struggle with that, I found a helpful tool is to ask questions of those beliefs. So when I just try to shout them down, like Suzanne had a really good one with clients. Well, what if I could, what if, I should not question. She said, I don't have to put up with this. There'll be another client around. And then of course our old beliefs come and go, but what if they don't? And what if word gets around? And what if she knows everybody and badmouths me? What if she leaves a review? And so you see how the belief goes to questions. And if we just try and combat the questions of the old beliefs with just dumbly or loudly, no, they won't happen. It just won't. I'm going to just believe my way through. If we don't kind of let them have their day in court, they're going to continue to fight with us. But if we reply to those questions that are representative of the old belief, what if they leave us a bad review? We reply with a new question. I wonder if there's ever been a company that got the goals that I wanted that got a bad review once. I guess it probably is. So just if you just think, I'm just going to replace those old beliefs with the new beliefs and all be fine and easy, it won't. If you've made a decision, it'll be a lot more doable. If you haven't made a decision, it's going to be very difficult. But if you made a clear-cut decision, when you start trying to replace new beliefs with old beliefs or old beliefs with new beliefs, and the old beliefs start throwing stuff at you, just question them. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to stuff them down. You don't have to throw them away. You can be like, what if? Well, what if she tells a bunch of people that we're bad people? Do you think she knows everybody in the world? Do you think she's really going to spend a lot of her time? How much time do you really think she's going to spend bad talking us? Is there a way I could quit and have her be happy? Is there a way I can quit and still hit my goals? Is there a way I could hit my goals and be happier and she's happy? Like, you just pick away at those old beliefs with questions.
Love it. Mike, you're getting really good at this.
Well, it's been a decade. So if I hadn't learned one or two things that is helpful to the world, then we've got a huge problem, Suzanne.
And before I go on, let me elaborate a little bit more on the thoughts and beliefs. Let's remember that a belief is simply a bunch of thoughts that we've thought a lot.
Great point.
The thoughts that we're thinking are creating our beliefs, but that doesn't necessarily mean the belief is true, right? Doesn't mean it's real. So let's just be aware that when we go to the base of the thoughts that we're thinking, we can change our beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Without beating a dead horse, the thoughts that we've thought are typically just asking and answering questions to ourselves. So if you change the questions, it's the beliefs have to change.
So number 4, everyone, Mike, you're going to love this. Number 4 is Mike's wheelhouse. Okay. It's take the action. We've decided we need to change. We're changing our thoughts, and be very, very clear. Changing our thoughts helps us make the change. Changing our thoughts helps us make the movement. You know, it's not like I'm just going to fight my way through it. It's I'm going to be a little more gentle with this. I'm going to change the thoughts, and it's going to help the wall melt away. I don't have to punch through it. Okay, so we're changing our thoughts, but now to go with the thoughts, we have to take the action, and we have to decide the plan, and then we have to do the plan. Okay, Mike, this is what you're so good at all the time. You help our clients create a plan, right? And then take the action to do the plan, and we're working on that with our thoughts.
It's so funny you say that, Suzanne. Yeah, of course I like action, right? Nothing's going to happen until we take action. The biggest mistake far and away I see in this, I hate to say it, but oftentimes with our male clients, me included, is, step 4 is a great step. It's important. The problem comes when we make step 4, step 1. It's so, especially on, the podcast clients, just tell me what to do, especially the guys, just tell me what to do. Like, they think we're trying to hide the ball from them and like trick them into like some mamby-pamby woohoo type stuff that's going to like just be a waste of their time, which I get. I don't want woohoo stuff that's a waste of my time. But if there's stuff I don't understand or am not comfortable with, but is super crucial to getting an outcome that I want, then I don't care how woohoo it is, as long as it's legal and ethical and moral. And I'm not so much about the woohoo part. I'm more into is it effective? So I can't emphasize enough, just in my experience, not only in my own life, but watching other people fail and succeed at things that are important to them. This action step is, of course, crucial, right? If you do 1 through 3 and stop, well, you'll actually get some benefit, believe it or not, but it's going to be really hard to achieve the thing that you want. But a much more insidious problem is confusing step 4 for step 1. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And then because we haven't taken the time to do steps 1 through 3, we just start making excuses when we don't. Well, the coaching was bad, or you don't understand, or that won't work for me, or I don't like it's always outwards because we never took the time to identify the problem and know what's really going on. So the beautiful thing about step 4 is if you've done steps 1 through 3 properly, you really are clear on what the problem is. You made an out and out, no holds barred decision, and you've understood what beliefs have got you here and what beliefs you're going to need to get there. The actions, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's almost obvious, and it's just the next step. It's almost kind of hard not to. Like, well, why wouldn't I? I have to. I made these decisions. I got the beliefs. The action is just a very logical next step. But when we start with the action without going through steps 1 through 3, by definition, if we want a different result, we have to take different actions. But the reasons we're taking the actions we're taking now is we have some belief that they work, and they work really well to get us where we're at. But by definition, they won't work to get us where we want to go. So I love you, being like, hey, Mike, here, we finally got to your wheelhouse. But after, for 20 years of doing, I put so much emphasis on action, which is really important, but I could never seem to get myself to do the actions that I want without steps 1 through 3. So I'm so excited for step 5, because I'm like, that's the picture. 1 through 4 is like people do just 4 and don't get any results, or just 1 through 3 and don't get any results. You do them together. Now we got something. So I'm like, I don't even think we need 5. And you're going to say, I'm like, dang it. I guess we did need it. So
Yes. And what you were just talking about, Mike, it takes me back to the old movie, The Secret.
Mhm.
And it was about your thoughts, and it was teaching people how to think differently. However, the step that it was missing was the action. It's akin to thinking that you can sit on the couch, eat your bowl of potato chips, think about all your new clients, and they're going to walk through your living room. No, right? You've got to have the mindset and pair that with the action.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Suzanne, because I watched that movie and I really liked it. And but I felt I liked it. And then I'm like, I believe a lot of things that they're saying here, but I wasn't able to articulate it as well as you did. So you just did it in a way that helped me. And I'm doing this because I think a lot of people, if they hadn't even seen the movie, they got the concept, and they probably had that same uneasy feeling of like, yeah, I get the things that I think about, thoughts become things, like that's a reality. But it seemed incomplete is the best word, but I couldn't have even gotten that clear before this conversation. And had they just acknowledged, because they gave a lot of examples of, I just thought, I just pictured, I just envisioned, and then look, I got this thing, and it kind of felt magic. But I'm like, well, I don't really believe in magic. Had they just, because I thought all those things and changed my beliefs, it's a really excellent story or movie or book on steps 1 through 3. Had they just acknowledged, and that's what gave me the fuel to do steps 4, and I'm guessing 5, to take the action, then we all could have went, got it. That now we can buy in all the way. So thank you so much, Suzanne. It's a dumb little itch for 20 years I rolled that movies I've never been able to scratch. And as soon as you said they forgot about the action, like, God dang it, it's so clear. Really well said, Suzanne. Again, I don't know how many people are old like me and know that movie, but all of them are going, yes, thank you. So thank you, Suzanne.
Always so glad I can help, Mike.
That's it. Now I'm like dying to know what number 5 is. You're holding that on us, lady.
By the way, still not on number 5. I want to give a little mindset tip to taking the action. And that is visualize the outcome you want to see. Okay. If you go in, you got to have a conversation with your employees. All right. If you go in thinking they're all going to hate this, they're all going to quit, this is going to turn out messy, guess what? Chances are you're skewing it to that side. But if you go in and you say they're really going to understand this, they're going to like this and appreciate this, we're going to go closer, they're going to be very happy, you're going to get a different outcome. So please help yourself with the mindset. The action and the mindset go hand in hand.
Well said.
Okay, number 5 is actually do check-ins. Number 5 is, are you changing a behavior? Are you changing a mindset? Then you need to continually touch base. Just stop for a minute and say, what am I thinking? Right? How am I behaving? Am I making the change I decided I would make? Maybe you're not going to be a pushover with clients anymore, right? Maybe you're going to say, these are our boundaries. This is what we do. This is how we serve you best. And it's a decision you've made that involves your mindset and your behavior. Then you have to continually check in and say, did I act like a business person in this interaction? Yes or no? Adjust if you didn't. Give yourself a high five if you did.
Can I restate that in a way that I heard, and you can tell me if that's clarifying and helpful, if I'm missing your point? I like simple. And when you said check in, I'm like, that sounds fuzzy to me. Not as bright as some others, so I need to dumb things down. And as you continue talking, I'm like, because I'm like, how do I check in? What does that mean? Like, what does that look like? Like everything you said, I'm like, okay, I feel like I can do that. I don't need like a step-by-step of that check-in. I was still like, And then I thought check-in for me would mean just reviewing, instead of going through steps 1 through 4, go backwards. So checking in would be like, look at the actions I'm taking and go, do those match the beliefs that I've decided I need? And do those match the choice that I've decided to make? And are those addressing the problem that I identified? So am I making a simple thing hard, or is that making sense?
That's exactly it.
Okay, cool. So for the kind of knuckleheads out here like me, like, what's the step by step? I'm like, checking in, I would just go back and go steps 4, 3, 2, 1, and just see where the disconnect was. And when I got that, they go back forwards and be like, all right, if it's the actions, I'll change the actions. The belief, I'll change the belief, and then the actions, and all the way through. All right. Well, I know we're running on time, and Suzanne's always got lots to do. Anything you'd like to add or contribute before we close?
Well, again, my new tagline, my tagline forever, it's not about working harder. It's about thinking differently.
I love that. Yeah, because the old, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's like, well, yeah, if to be smarter is not helpful. I have the smart that I have, but think differently. It's like, well, okay, I can do that. And then of course my next question would be, how do I think differently? Like steps 1 through, we just lined them out. Yeah, it's almost like girlfriend knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and it's helped some people. And I do want to encourage you, for those of you like, this all sounds smart, but how do I know this lady didn't just read a couple books and don't know nothing? It's truly been my pleasure over the last years to watch her. I'm real good at what to do and how to do it. And, sometimes people do and sometimes people don't. And just watching her walk through this with our people, not only have them do the things that are good for them more often, but feel better about it, has been a joy. So I can firsthand encourage you that these are things that I see Suzanne, unfortunately we can't talk to y'all one-on-one in this format, but these are things I see Suzanne do with people one-on-one, and not only do they get better results, but they just feel better about it. So Cleaning Nation, hopefully this has been helpful. We do all this for free because we just desperately want to see you guys win. If the podcast or the YouTube channel has been helpful, but not complete in terms of what you need, please reach out. We lots of different ways we can help people broadly or more specifically. And that's why we do what we do, is to see you guys win and have the lives that you want. And whether it's us or somebody else, please don't wait until the pain gets to be where you can't take it anymore. If you want a different life, you can decide right now. And, maybe you've got beliefs about what you've done before, change those beliefs and take action. If part of that action is reach out and get some help from us or somebody else, here's a chance to put some legs under what we've been talking about. Appreciate time and attention. We'll talk soon.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge, and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.